بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
We at Nottingham Islam Information Point would like to thank everybody for attending today's event. And before we start the event, I just want to make a few announcements. The event will inshallah go on until after Salatul Maghrib, which is about 4:30. We will pray Salatul Asr at 2:20 and Salatul Maghrib at 4 o'clock. There are refreshments on the table at the back, so please help yourselves and do not make a mess. Our special guest, Abu Muhammad, will be selling DVDs on Ruqiyah outside in the courtyard after the event. So if you would like to purchase these, you can do so after the event. With regards to question time, can sisters please write down their questions on the paper provided and give them to the sisters who are wearing the armbands, because they are in charge upstairs. And before we start the event, I just would like to play a short presentation about what we do at Nottingham Islam Information Point.
أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد في سكون الليل أدعو في سجودي والدجى حولي سواد في سوادي يا رؤوفا يا رحيما يا حليما يا كريما ما لفضلك من نفادي يا سميعا يا مجيبا يا عظيما اهدني يا خالق السبع الشداد أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشاد للهدى والحق وفقني إلهي فعلى توفيقك اليوم اعتمادي يا إله الكون يا عوني وغوثي يا ملأ الخلق في يوم المعاد أنا يا ربي أرجو منك عفوا فاعف عن ذنبي وحقق لي مرادي نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت
The theme of today's event is essential. Reason being is because many Muslims are indulging and unfortunately have been influenced by some of these magicians. Fortune telling, astrology, street magicians, and believing that some people know the unknown. Today's event is essential, and we need to focus on this. Today's event is not for any amusement. Today's event is not to entertain anyone, because many Muslims have been harmed. Many Muslims are going to deviant people like this, which are now shown on the wall. This kadhab, this shaitan, who is out there deceiving people into thinking that he can help you with the aid of jinn. He can cure your magic with magic. Sihr with sihr. And many Muslims have been tricked by those people who claim to know the unknown, and that they have some type of gift. Today, we will talk about another creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Another realm that resides with us on this planet. And they are called Al-Jinn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Indeed, I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me. Jinn and mankind The only reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us is to worship Him alone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made that clear. That human beings and jinn have been created only for that purpose. Linguistically, jinn means to conceal, to hide something, something that is unseen, that is covered. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that the malaika, the angels, are created from light. Mankind are created from the soil. And the jinn have been created from fire. The smokeless flame of the fire. The bit at the top of the flame where you see the smoke sizzling out. This is the substance that al-jinn are created from. And they were created before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created humankind. They have hearts, eyes and ears. They eat, drink and laugh. We need to realize that in this world of ours, there are good jinn as well as there are good human beings. And there are bad jinn as well as there are bad human beings. The jinn are exactly the same as us. There are some that are Muslims, believing jinn. There are some that are Christians, Jews and atheists. Some who are practicing, some who are taking their religion for granted. The only difference is that Allah Azza wa Jal has given them a favour. And that is that they can see us, but we cannot see them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ وَقَبِيلُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُمْ. Verily Shaitan and his soldiers from amongst the jinn see you from where you cannot see them. So they can see us. They could be present with us today. They could be amongst us today. Inshallah, the believing jinn. Because they want to be around the human beings where there is dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where there is remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So there could be some here today. And that's to benefit from the knowledge that you are all here today as well. There are various types of jinn. The ones who live with people in their homes are called Amir. The ones who attach themselves to children are called Arwah. The jinn who causes harm to people are called Shaitan. The ones who causes more harm than the Shaitan is called a Marid. And the one who is stronger than that and the strongest of them all is called an Ifrit. But without a doubt, Iblis is the strongest. He is the strongest and the longest. And he has been here for many, many years. But we'll talk about that later, inshallah. The jinn who are the most weak, the most weakest at them all are called Hin. And the ones who rapidly change his form are called Ghoul. Now all of these jinns are of three types. One type which flies through the air, One type which is like snakes and dogs, and one type which move from place to place. They have various skills. They have the ability to take on various visible forms, such as human beings, black dogs, black cats, and snakes. And they are no doubt physically stronger than us, without a doubt. Some jinn have good craftsman-like skills. They can build big structures in their realm. And some jinn can move from one place to another very quickly, within a blink of an eye. And there are some jinn that can dive into the very depths of the ocean. Now we can't talk about jinn unless we mention about the shayateen. We can't talk about shayateen unless we talk about magic, sihr. And we can't talk about magic unless we talk about Ruqiyah. So I will briefly talk about these subjects that surround the topic of al-jinn. Every shaitan is a jinn. But not every jinn is a shaitan. Does everybody understand that? Every shaitan is a jinn, but not every jinn is a shaitan. Because the other jinn are believing jinn. They are Muslims. So a shaitan is a disbelieving jinn. We also have shayateen amongst the humankind. The rebellious ones. Those who reject the message of Allah Azza wa Jal. Those who are not Muslims are also called shayateen. And they are very ugly in appearance, the ones from amongst the jinn. They are very ugly in appearance and they have 2 horns. Now these are some of the job roles that the shayateen undertake from the orders of Iblis, their master. They can come to you at the time of Salah and they will try to interrupt you, whisper in your ears or in your heart and make you and divert you from your Salah and make you think about other things other than Salah. And they would also make you forget how many rakat you have prayed. This type of jinn is called khanzab, who comes to you at the time of Salah. There are other types of jinn who will try to split up a marriage between a husband and a wife. And when he does that, he or she does that, indeed they have done a noble job for Iblis. There are the jinn, the shayateen who trigger fights in the marketplaces, in the shopping centres, where trade is taking place. They would try and make the trader have arguments with the buyer and trigger fights within the marketplaces. There are some shayateen who would beautify lies and make humans think that it is alright to make small lies as well as big ones. There are some shayateen who comes to you at the time of calamity, when something disastrous has happened. A family member has passed away. You have lost your job. And this shaitan will come and make you regret things. And make you think to yourselves that why does this have to happen to me? They will make you say this and not accept the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they would also encourage people to commit fornication and adultery. Now the food of the jinn are animal bones and dung. Animal bones and human waste. Not just human waste, animal waste as well. The Muslim jinn will only eat from the animal bones which are halal. What do you expect? They're going to eat something haram? So they would only feed off the bones of the animals which Allah's name has been mentioned upon. The drink of the shaitan are intoxicating drinks. Again, what do you expect? This is their drink. Whether it's alcohol or any intoxicating substance or fluid. This is their drink. The shaitan also eats with his left hand. He would stand when he drinks. He would walk around with one shoe or one sandal. Not two shoes or no shoes. One shoe or one sandal. And they would stand half in the shade and half in the sun. Very weird things they do. Opposite to what the human beings should be doing. Human beings should not be drinking or eating with their left hand. They should be with their right. They shouldn't be standing and drinking. Try and sit down. They should be wearing both of the shoes or no shoes at all, not one. And they shouldn't be standing half in the shade and half in the sun. It's either you stand all in the shade or you stand all in the sun. So they do the opposite to us. Don't follow them in their ways. And the bell is shaitan's musical instrument. Now only donkeys and dogs can see the jinn. Whether they are Muslim jinn or shayateen. Only donkeys and dogs. So whenever you hear a donkey braying or a dog barking, seek refuge in Allah Jalla Jalaluh by saying A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. Because they can see something which you cannot see. The crowing of a rooster indicates that it has seen an angel. And also the jinn, in their world, they also have their own animals. They have their own pets. They have their own cattle. And they have their own cattle. The animals that they ride upon when they go into war. Now the jinn, they do get married and they do have offspring, similar to the human beings. But the offspring of the jinn are multiplied more than the offspring of the human beings. In one pregnancy, they would have about 7 to 9 children. Whilst we could have twins, triplets, quadruplets, but they can have anything from 7 to 9 in one pregnancy. And the female jinni would be pregnant for 15 months and not 9 months like the human beings do. And their childbirth is a lot more painful than what the human beings go through. Now jinns can fall in love with human beings. So those good-looking ones, be careful. Because the jinn, the male jinni or the female jinni can come for you. And they can fall in love with you. And the women are most vulnerable because of their beauty. What do you expect? When the women enter the restrooms, especially to take a bath or a shower, please walk in with your left foot, say the dua of going into the restroom, which is Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal-khaba'ith. And then when you come out of the restrooms, walk out with your right foot and say Ghufranaka. Because whilst you're in the restrooms, this is where the male jinni and the female jinni can reside. Anywhere in the whole house, they would like to live there. Because they are attracted to filth, to dirty things. And especially when the woman and the man, when they undress to take a shower or a bath, when you undress, what do you say? Bismillahi. This will scare away any male jinni or female jinni that is present in the restroom. So please be careful when you go to the restrooms. And I'm not going to rule this out, because human beings can marry from amongst the jinn, and vice versa. Very rare this happens, but throughout history, since the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's only been one or two cases that has been known where human beings can marry from amongst the jinn. The jinn, they do die, and they do have a lifespan like that of the humans. They will die eventually. But their lives are a lot longer than human beings. They can live anything up to 7,000 years. Whereas only human beings can only live just past 100 years old. So they do die, except for Iblis. Iblis has been granted the favour to live up until the day of resurrection, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep him alive until that day. And that still could be thousands and thousands of years away. Allahu A'lam. So only Iblis gets to live up until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Humans can kill jinn and vice versa. There is the story with Khalid bin Walid in his autobiography, where he killed the female shaitan Al-Uzza. He killed her and she died. She was a female shayateen, a female shaitan. And a Sahabi was also killed by a believing jinn who came in the form of a snake. So a Sahabi at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was also killed by a Muslim jinn. So we can kill them and they can kill us. One example of how we can kill them is when you pour hot boiling water from the kettle down the plug hole of the sinks, because you want to clean the sinks out. If you're pouring hot boiling water down these plug holes, there could be a jinni living there, a Muslim jinn or a shaitan, and you can kill it. So before you do anything like that, say Bismillah. Before you pour anything down any plug hole, any sink hole, say Bismillah. And this will scare away the jinn, inshallah. Because if you kill a jinn, a jinni, it might come and take revenge on you. The mother might come and take revenge on you. So be very careful. They tend to live, the jinn, in big gatherings, just like human beings. We like to live in a community where people are around. They also like to live in big gatherings, but in ruins and other deserted places, like deserts, in the oceans, forests, jungles, where man hardly goes, where human beings hardly reside. This is where they live. They can also live in dirty places, like I said, in bathrooms, public toilets, garbage dumps, and graveyards. Now, on this planet, we have about 72% of the planet filled with water, and only about 28% is land. This 72%, which is filled with water, man does not live on water. But the jinn can live there. And they are probably occupying every space on this planet right now. Because they are numerous. More than humanity, more than the number of mankind. There are many of them. Remember, they multiply. So they reside in these vast oceans and seas where man hardly goes through, except if they're sailing to get to a destination. And then on land, human beings, 1 out of 4, or shall I say the equation 1 out of 4, the human beings live on land. Because the other 3/4 of land is desert and jungles and swamps. And man doesn't really reside there. So again, jinn can live there as well. So we only cover 1/4 of it. So there are many. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could make us see al-jinn, you will be astonished how many there are of them. Like I said, they would occupy nearly every part of this earth because there are so many of them. They also like to be known to be in marketplaces where trade is sought. And the believing jinn would like to be around the Muslims. The Muslim jinn would like to come and live with us in our own homes, in our houses, because they want to be near the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal. They want to be near you where there is recitation of Quran, where there is salah taking place every day. There would be a family of Muslim jinn praying behind you. The male Muslim jinn in the front rows, their children behind them, and the female Muslim jinn behind the children. Just like us. They live in your houses, just as you want the angels to come and live in your houses. So this is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we can have believing jinn to live amongst us in our houses. And they would repel, they would do this on our behalf, they would repel the shayateen who dares to come towards our homes. They would try to repel them and fight them off. So it's a blessing to have Muslim jinn to live with you in your homes. For they won't harm you, and neither will you harm them, inshallah. And there are many Muslim jinn living in the Haramain, in Medina, in Jerusalem, where the holy places are in Islam. And they could leave your home in London or in Nottingham and quickly catch the Jamaat or the Friday khutbah in the Haram. They could quickly catch that and come straight back home within a blink of an eye. And the throne of Iblis is on the sea. Now you have to imagine this, my dear brothers and sisters. Iblis has a kingdom. Has a kingdom somewhere on this planet. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. Whether it's near the Bermuda Triangle or the Formosa Triangle, wherever, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But He has a vast kingdom. And He has many shayateen working under Him. And all he wants to do, Iblis, is just make mankind fall into sin, into error. This is all he wants you to do. He wants you to join him, accumulate the bad deeds, and join him in Jahannam, where he will reside after Yawm al-Qiyamah. So he has a vast kingdom, and he has all of these shayateen going out, causing mayhem on the earth, making man and woman commit sins, minor sins or major. This is what Iblis wants them to do. Now the Qareen, is assigned with every companion. With every human being. Since they were born, a Qareen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned a companion from amongst the jinn to accompany the human being from birth. A guardian angel as well as a companion from amongst the jinn, the Qareen. And the Qareen can either be a shaitan or believing jinn. But if you want your Qareen to be a believing Muslim jinn, you've got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of work to do. Because then that Qareen will encourage you to do nothing but good deeds. And that's what you want. And the Qareen knows everything about you, since the day you was born until the day you die. And that Qareen will live on. That Qareen will live on for another few thousand years. And that Qareen can communicate with the other jinn in their realm. If wanted to, if needed be, they can communicate with the other jinn in that world. Your Qareen. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his Qareen, embraced Islam and became a Muslim. Again, what do you expect? And his Qareen is known to be alive today. And he is residing or mostly teaching in the Baqi, the graveyard next to the Prophet's mosque. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he's there and he's teaching the rest of the Muslim jinn about the ahadith and the tafsir of Quran from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's teaching the Muslim jinn about Islam. And Allahu a'lam, as far as we know, he's still alive and he's there. He resides in Medina. Now, the doppelganger, I've got to speed it up a little bit. The doppelganger, in German, it means a double walker. And it's a person who basically has a twin ascribed to them, where a person is seen to be in two places at once. A paranormal double of a living person. So for example, you could be at work in the office and it's lunchtime and you go into the kitchen or into the cafeteria area to make yourself a hot drink, and one of your colleagues sees that you've gone into the cafeteria or the kitchen, and that colleague quickly goes downstairs to smoke a cigarette. And then as soon as he goes outside to light up his cigarette, he sees you there. He sees you probably crossing the street. And he's thinking, I've just seen him up in the cafeteria. How did he get down here so all of a sudden? This is the concept of the doppelganger. Now this is very similar to what we have of the qareen. The qareen who is ascribed to us. It is very similar. And in the Norse mythology and the ancient Egyptian mythology, they also have the same. With jinn and UFOs, the opinion of the contemporary scholars of today say that the UFOs that the human beings see from time to time in different places, different times of the day or during the night, these are tricks played by the shayateen. This is our opinion. And the reason why the shayateen wants to play tricks on mankind like this, because shaitan wants us to think that there are aliens or another living being, life force out there on other planets. So we must then spend a lot of money to try and research and find out this other life form on these other planets. Spending billions and billions of pounds on useless things like this, when we could be spending that money on the poor and the needy, on the places where there can be remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like masajid and things like that, orphanages. This is where we should be spending the money on, not on trying to find out what's out there in the rest of the galaxy. So these are the tricks played by shaitan. Now with magicians, these street magicians and the ones who stay in the shows with a live audience, again, this is no other than the shayateen helping the magician, the sahir. Without a doubt. But majority of the tricks that these magicians play, they are illusions, where the hand is quicker than the eye. They are illusions. And they make you think that it is magic, but it isn't. Most of the times, it is illusions. There is the small percentage where the jinn can be helping the sahir, the magician, with producing tricks, to make people think that they are producing magic. And these shayateen, they choose to help the magicians on a short-term basis, or could be on a long-term basis. So if it is a short-term basis, they would work for the magician, they would help the magician become rich, have fame, mesmerize people, things like this. But then all of a sudden they would just go. They'll just disappear. And that's it, khalas. They wouldn't help the magician anymore. Or they could, that's the short-term basis, or the long-term basis is that where they would work for them for a very, very long time. And the magicians would also have a contract with the shaitan. Fortune tellers, they would also have a contract with the shayateen, and this contract is just mumbo jumbo. It's just symbols and signs, maybe the odd letter or so produced on this contract, where no one can hardly read it, just mumbo jumbo. And it's signed by the sahir, the magician, and the shaitan, and the shayateen who chooses to help the magician. So it's just a contract. You do something for me, we'll do something for you. But when you do something for them, it's going to be polytheistic rituals. Something that contains shirk. something that degrades or does something with the Quran, verses of Quran, or ridiculing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or things like this, some despicable thing like this, you have to do this for them, and then they will help you. Now with poltergeists, obviously the poltergeist in the Western world is where the malicious ghosts tend to live in a certain location, and they're always causing mayhem with the inhabitants from amongst the humans. So these poltergeists could be the ones called Amir, the ones who live in people's houses. But you've got to remember that these jinn, they probably lived there first. They probably came there first, and you're just moving in there. You want to move in there, live in there, but this family of jinn are already living there. So one of you have to go. So either you go and you leave them to it, or you stay and you get rid of them. There are ways of getting rid of them. Okay, you ask them nicely to leave, to fear Allah, things like this. You recite Surah Al-Baqarah in the house, and establish the Salah in the house, give the Adhan in the house, things like this, and inshallah they will go. So this is poltergeist, the Western concept of the ghosts in the houses. Now black magic is nothing but a contract between a magician and a jinni. It's nothing but a contract, that's all it is. Anyone can write one up, but I highly recommend you not to. Not to play around with the Ouija board, not to play around with contracts with the shayateen. I strongly advise you to don't do that. Very serious. And magic, sihr, is only a means of getting closer to Iblis. It's only a means of getting closer to shaitan. Now the magicians in the society, they are a plague, and they need to be eradicated from society because they harm people. They harm people, they destroy people's lives. They need to be annihilated and driven out of the planet. These people who practice magic, they're dangerous and they destroy people's lives. And the execution of magicians is the view of Umar, Uthman, Ibn Umar, Hafsa, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Musa al-Ashari, Imam Abu Hanifa, and Imam Malik. The types of black magic, there are a few types. The separation of married couples or family members, that's one type. Extreme love, so where you would love your wife so much, or you would love your husband so much, and you would forget about everyone else. This is also another type of magic. Imaginations and illusions, you're seeing things. Excess laziness, you can't be bothered to do much. Sudden paralysis in one of the limbs, so you feel numb on one side of the body or something. And infertility in the male and the female. Now the signs of a magician, these are some of the signs that you can look out for in a magician, in a sahir. They would ask you for your mother or father's name, your name as well as your mother or father's name. They would ask for somebody's garment or belonging, even a strand of hair. They would ask for. They would ask for a specific type of animal, some sort of frog or butterfly in certain parts of the world. They would ask for this, for a specific type of animal. They would ask for a sacrifice to be thrown into a filthy place. So they would do a sacrifice for the shaitan, and then they would ask you to throw away that sacrifice or bury it in some dirty place. They would write unreadable talismans, ta'weez, and telling people whereabouts to place them on their bodies, on their waists, on their wrists, around their necks. They would abuse the writings of Quran and, like I said, doing despicable things with them. They could write verses of the Quran with menstrual blood, with feces. They would tell you to do this. The shayateen would tell the sahir to do this, and they would do this. They would wear the Quran, they would strap the Quran with some string on their feet, and they would walk into the toilets with the Quran, disrespecting the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they would also ask to bury something that they have prepared. Most likely the spell, the magic. They would tell you to go and bury it somewhere. Now, like I said, these are what the magicians can go through to make the shaitan help them. They would wear the Quran on their feet like a pair of shoes, and they would walk into the toilet, and they would say their incantations, their polytheistic sayings. They would also slaughter a bird such as a chicken or a pigeon in the name of Iblis, not in the name of Allah, and they would stain certain objects with its blood. They would also write verses of Quran with the menstrual blood or other filthy fluids whilst reciting their incantations, their polytheistic words. They would rewrite verses of the Quran backwards, and they would also talk to a certain star in the night sky, a new star that is born or something like this. They would look out for, and they would perform specific bodily movements whilst reciting polytheistic words, and this is how also to gain the help of the shaitan. Now, I think we should break here because we are promised to pray Salat al-Asr about this time, so we will continue after Salat al-Asr with just the evil eye, and then Ruqiyah, and then inshallah I will pass you on to Abu Muhammad, inshallah. So brothers and sisters, please can make the wudu, and inshallah we'll prepare now for Salat al-Asr. Jazakallah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasul al-Kareem. Okay, my dear brothers and sisters, we'll continue with the evil eye. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the evil eye is haqq, is true. There is such thing as the evil eye. Now the evil eye is something where you would look at somebody. So for example, you would look at one of your friends, because this happened to two of the Sahabi at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where one of you could look at your friend and you could say to yourself, wow, he's got some good skin, some good young fresh skin. And then that person who you said that to becomes sick. That is the result of the evil eye. So when you want to say such things like that, if you want to compliment one another, or even yourselves, when you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, wow, I look good. Or you're holding your baby in your arms and you're saying, my baby looks very beautiful, just like me when I was that age. Always say Alhamdulillah, or MashaAllah, or I thank Allah for having a baby who looks like me, or for having good looks, etc. You have to carry it with a blessing, with a glorification, like Alhamdulillah or MashaAllah, Subhanallah. Because if you don't say that, then an evil eye could occur. The evil eye could occur even on yourself. You're looking in the mirror and you say, wow, I look good. And you don't say Alhamdulillah or anything like that. It could affect you. All of a sudden, you just fall sick. Or your child could fall sick. So again, it's very important you back it up and you follow it on with Alhamdulillah or some sort like that. Because the evil eye is true. Now, if anyone has been affected, if they think that they have been affected by the evil eye, this is the process what they have to do. You have to make the person who you think did the evil eye, you need to make that person take a shower or a bath. And with that water that they've used whilst taking the shower or the bath, with that water, collect it. Collect it in buckets or something like that. And give that used water to the one who is affected, the one who is sick. And make that sick person take a bath with it. And inshallah, that sick person should be cured. Also, there are other Ruqiyah for this, and that's when you would put your hand on the forehead of the sick person and you recite certain ayats from Quran and certain selected dua. Okay, this is another way as well. So the evil eye is true and it exists. And also a jinni who you cannot see, a jinni can also do that to you as well. A jinni could be walking down the street, you're walking down the street, and the jinni looks at you and says, wow, look at him. So it could be affected by, it could be caused by a jinni as well. A jinni could cause the evil eye. Now Ruqiyah, exorcism in Islam is called Ruqiyah. And it is used to repair the damage caused by sihr, magic. And it consists of reciting some specific verses from the Quran which glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and invoke Allah's help. Okay? Ruqiyah can also repel the plots of shaitan and evil eye on a daily basis by regularly reciting the adhkar. And Ruqiyah is also the form of Islamic medicine prescribed by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, if someone has been affected by sihr, by black magic, it can be a long process. It can be a very quick process, depending how long the shaitan has gone inside that person. Depending how long and how strong that shaitan is. It can be a short process or it could be a very long process. If it's a very long process, it will involve eating special dates, ajwa dates, senna, black seed, cumin, honey, and Indian costus and other types of ingredients. Drinking Zamzam water, bathing in Zamzam water, always being in the state of wudu, blowing in one's cupped hands and reciting the mu'awwidhatayn, Qul a'udhu birabbil falaq and Qul a'udhu birabbil nas in one's hand, and then you wipe it over your whole body. Regularly smearing the body with olive oil. Regularly reciting Quran, especially Surah Al-Baqarah, and listening to different recitations on audio CDs by the different reciters. And especially attending halaqat and masjid activities, clinging to the Jamaat. Stick with the Muslims. Now, these are just some homely remedies that we can do on a daily basis that will repel shaitan to come near us. Okay, say Bismillah when you enter your homes and before eating and drinking. Bismillah, enter your homes. Bismillah, enter the masjid. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through dhikr. Okay, always use your tongue to make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Things like this. Reciting Quran, especially Surah Al-Baqarah, at least try once a month. Recite this surah. Probably take you 3 or 4 days. Recite these pages of Surah Al-Baqarah at least once a month. Recite surahs Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and Nas on a regular basis. Keep children inside their homes when darkness falls, at sunset, Maghrib time, because that's when the jinn spread out. This is when the shayateen spread out and come out. They are out from Maghrib until Fajr. So keep your children inside the homes. Occasionally make adhan in your homes for the shayateen. They flee when they hear the adhan. Recite Ayatul Kursi before you sleep. Okay, very highly recommended. Being in a state of wudu when you go to sleep. Saying the invocation when entering the bathroom, the restroom. Saying Bismillah when pouring hot water down the sinks like I've told you. And don't hang any pictures that contain humans or animals around your house. For the shaitan, they hide in them. Don't play any music in your homes. And say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah when you enter your homes. Also teach your children this. Very easy. Tell your son, daughter, say Bismillah when you come home. When you go through the door, say Bismillah. Okay? Very easy to teach them. There are many books, authentic books that can be found downstairs in the shop, which is a must to have on every library in every house. Okay, because one day it could happen to you. Something like this, some black magic or something could happen to you where you need exercising, you need the cure. But these books will teach you and train you how to do it yourself, and also to do the daily adhkar on a regular basis as well. So without further ado, I just want to bring Abu Muhammad onto the table. But before I bring him onto the table, I just want to say that we at Nottingham Islam Information Point, for the past 14 years now, we have had over 40 shahadas, okay, from human beings, whether at the table or in the masjid or elsewhere. But we've given the message out to the people. So if these non-Muslims give shahada elsewhere, we've still done our job. Okay, whether they accept Islam or not, we've still done our job. We've had over 40 shahadas. Abu Muhammad, the Iraqi, our brother from London, he has shahada from jinn nearly every day. 1 or 2 shahadas from the jinn. Nearly every day. Before they leave the body, they give shahada. So, it looks like we're in the wrong type of business. So, we will probably be joining Abu Muhammad quite shortly. Inshallah, he's getting that many shahadas nearly every day. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Abu Muhammad.
نستعينه ونستهديه ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله شهادة ندخرها إلى يوم اللقاء. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters, and thank you so much for having me here. I thank the brothers who give me the opportunity to be here, and thank you so much for coming and to give me the opportunity, inshallah, to listen to me. One sister, by the way, yesterday she sent me email. If you can read it, inshallah, barakallah. You read this one, inshallah, because you are fast, mashallah, and
Okay, the email reads, as a Muslim sister, I would like to share my story to all the Muslim sisters and respected elders about what happened to me. I've been ill from past 7 years, but from last year, things have been gone very hard in my life. My family was turned against me, I lost all of my good friends and had no hope left in education and in life. To me, life started to seem very blurred. But something really huge happened in my life recently, and I've learnt my lesson and want to ensure that no one else go through the same thing. I went in the shopping mall in the city and was walking and seemed very tired and lost. And all of a sudden, some person stopped me halfway and said, "Do you know where you're going? You're going through tough times. Your family does not trust you. Someone has done black magic on you, and if you have got time, then we can discuss further." I never spoke to a stranger, but I was really surprised how he managed to manipulate me and talk to him, and that was my biggest mistake. I believed him because almost everything he mentioned was happening in my life, And after talking to him, I was very relaxed. And then I thought, maybe he has a lot of knowledge. Then he gave me a ta'weez, and said, keep it safe now you're in good hands now. Keep it safe. I did not know that he is going to charge anything. Then he said, give the money, and I will pray for you. And I did give him the money. After a couple of days, I suddenly went very ill. I couldn't eat anything, couldn't sleep, and everything started going wrong, and arguments at home. Then he called me and said, I know you're not feeling well. I can help you if you can give me the money and take the amal, the black magic, out of you. Then no one can do black magic on you ever again. He knew everything because he sent jinn in my body, which I did not know. I did as he said, gave him a lot of money. On the following day, he took amal out of me, which was just the jinn he sent in my body, just to convince me that whatever he said was true. First couple of weeks, everything was good at home and in my life. Then suddenly I started behaving really weird. My family was observing me that something has possessed in me, that's why I'm behaving strangely. I tried to contact him several times to find out why things are going wrong when they were not supposed to. But since he took the amal black magic out of me, but he never answered any of my call. Then I told my mum and sister. My mum took me to the mosque and went to see the imam. The imam referred me to the Ruqiyah for treatment. I was very pleased to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam for putting me on the right path and right time and protecting my family. I'm currently taking the Ruqiyah treatment and praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every time that He has guided me on the straight path. I am feeling better day by day because I'm taking the treatment seriously. I was very, very angry when I found out that the person has sent jinn in my body. I've learned a big lesson in my life and ask for all Muslim sisters to be careful not to talk to any strangers and save yourself and your family from these evil people. Please do pray for me and my family for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives me shifa. Ameen. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair. This magician charged 1,400 pounds. The fee, student fee, the money for university. He took this money, and the worst thing, he sent two jinns. I'm sorry to say this, but this is what happened. One jinn went to her private part, and one to the head. So in order to push her to go to the magician, and it's not only the money, he wants something else. So you have to be very careful. So this is, inshallah, I will show you another one, which is, inshallah, this is mashallah collection. Okay, which one I start with, inshallah? Please, my brother, tell me, what do you think of this ta'weez? Bismillah. This is ta'weez. This is supposed to be to protect you. Can anyone suggest what is in here? Sihr. What is inside? Paper? Okay, I'll make it short for you, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. This is, I don't know whether tiger, big cat, or normally they think that the wolf scared the jinn. Okay, they do this. We have one like this. No, I don't know what is this. I don't know if you can, inshallah. This is, mashallah, a good heart. One brother he said, mashallah, I love my mom. My mom, she give me this. I said to him, okay, my brother, I love my mom too. Inshallah, if I find it nice, I can have one too. I know by the will of Allah there is. This is what his mom gave him. Bismillah. This one's supposed to be ta'weez. Nothing. Disappeared. Okay? MashaAllah. There is another one. This is how they make fun of us. Inshallah, please, inshallah, any one of us here has tawiz, please take it off, inshallah. And if you know Al-Fatiha, Ayat Al-Kursi, 3 calls, that's enough. And the brother Harun is already mentioned earlier, which mashallah, may Allah reward him. He saved me time not to talk too much. This is supposed to be tawiz. Okay? And so on and so forth. Because the brother, he said, you have to speak inshallah about tawiz. This is tawiz inshallah. I hope inshallah from today, you learn a lesson inshallah. And tell your, and mashallah, this man, the Pir Sabu Mulana, whatever, he got tired, he gave his son money to do scribbling. This is, how can you get pure with this? Mashallah, somebody ran out of paper, now he used technology. He gave a nail, one nail straight and the other one bent. Which means if you find something bent, or if you find a lock, which means if you find the lock closed, which means your luck closed, or that's what they do. The magician, they read the spell and then they close the lock. So but Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala open it. This is another one, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein. We call only one, Ya Allah. The Prophet ﷺ, we can't say Salamu alayka Ya Rasulullah. That's it. You are not going to ask the Prophet ﷺ, he's not going to listen to you. He's not going to help you. Only the one, وَإِذَا مَرَرْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. Only Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala who can help inshallah and to save you inshallah.
There's one question from the sisters. It's just very straightforward. It's saying, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have downloaded the Holy Quran in my phone. My worry is when I want to go to the public toilet, what can I do? My phone is still with me, which is not good. Please give me some advice. Jazakallah khairan. Okay, yeah, basically, it's if you've got the Quran, all of it downloaded on your phone, and if you go into the restroom with the phone in your pocket, then that's fine. Okay, Jazakallah khairan.
And also these people who give taweez, and you go with taweez to toilet. You take the taweez with you to toilet. They are clever. They will tell you the taweez is covered with plastic and this and that, but still the toilet is toilet. My dear sister, inshallah, with the great respect, I didn't hear properly, but if you can leave your phone outside, mashallah. If somebody can hold the phone for you, inshallah, it will be nice, inshallah. لأن toilet. And so, inshallah, we want to respect the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Jazakallah for that. Okay, first question from the brothers is going to go to Muhammad. Muhammad, what was your question?
Do you hear me?
I couldn't have your to speak.
All right, okay. Thank you very much for all the information. I'm a bit concerned about the content of the talks. And my concern is the youngsters sitting here, I'm not sure how will interpret all these knowledges in their life. My worry is that we sometimes will take everything as, anything happen in life, it is jinn, everything happen like that, it's jinn, it is eyes, I'm sick because there's a jinn, I'm not married because of jinn, and that can turn life into a terrible life if we understand it like that. So if we look to the Holy Quran and how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about jinn, it's very limited. It's not much, it's very little, and it means that we shouldn't take such much information or a lot of things or put a lot of things in our life related all to this subject. We order to believe in jinn as ghaibiyat. Okay, we have to believe in jinn.
I get your point.
But just
please, Jazakallah.
But I want to complete very important. We have to believe in jinn, that's fine. We have to believe there is jinn who are believers and Muslims, and we have to believe disbelievers are shayateen. and we have to know what is Prophet ﷺ ordered us to do to protect us. And that, I think that all what we need to know. And more than that will be too much, because that will turn life into terrible life. This is number one. It's very, very important. Like, for example, loss of weight, I'm a doctor, right? Maybe many things. Maybe I had cancer, I have malignancy. I'm much worried about people might interpret things wrongly.
But come to the point.
And otherwise, for example, sudden paralysis can be stroke. So we need just to be careful about how to interpret.
With my due respect to you, I have 9 doctors are my patient.
I'm not. That's the last thing. Because a question for you.
Please,
sorry. One question for you.
Let me answer you or come and give lecture, please. My dear brothers, something happened to the Muslim Ummah. There is a jinn involved. When I am like yourself, doctor, when somebody come to me, I speak to them and I give them the questionnaire to fill it in. With the questionnaire, we will know whether there is evil eye or magic or jinn. And before somebody come to me, when they phone, I said, have you been checked by doctor? Have you been checked by psychologist? And to know whether this person, he have a jinn or psychological problem or medical problem. How I will know? When I read on the person, just please let me finish.
Not for you, I'm not telling you do that. I'm telling generally about how people interpret the knowledge.
Yeah, but they are here.
I'm not talking about your job, sorry. I'm not talking about what you're doing.
No.
I'm talking about the amount of knowledges the youngsters, a young Muslim, need to know and not to practice life in a way they will not be obsessed by anything.
No,
They're putting everything in their mind to be that.
Sorry, my brother. Sorry.
This is very. I'm not talking about what you're doing. I'm questioning your job.
I understand what you are saying, my brother. You know, we have a problem with the psychologist. Excuse me, the one who's playing with the. Inshallah, be quiet, please. We have a problem with the psychologist and we have a problem with doctors. This is a problem between us, the one who does a Ruqiyah, and the doctors and psychologists and this and that. But, and like I said to you, before we scare them, we tell them this or tell them that, we advise them. Like Harun, he was at the end, he was giving them advice. We don't scare them. But if somebody has a jinn, I'm not going, no, Allah, you are okay. If somebody has a jinn, I will tell him have a jinn, but you fear Allah Tabarak. And the one, I have many people who come, they don't have anything. At the end of my session, I will say, la shay, there is nothing. No jinn, they have a problem, husband and wife problem. So sometimes they play with us, and I find, I speak to the lady, fear Allah Tabarak. Excuse me, don't play, inshallah. Just 1 second, ma'am. I will say, my sister and my brother, please fear Allah Tabarak. You have no problem.
Last thing, which is just 1 second, my brother. 1 second only. Please, did the practice of speaking to jinn done by the Prophet?
Please let him
just let me finish.
Did this practice done by the Prophet or his Sahaba?
Okay, by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah. Did he practice doing that?
No.
Or the Sahaba did practice speaking to jinn?
Yes. They didn't practice with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did, and he said to the jinn, "Ukhrij adullah inni rasulullah." Subhanallah. I thought somebody is going to speak to me. MashaAllah. Arab أخي MashaAllah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحديث الأول عن عطاء ابن رباح قال لابن عباس رضي الله عنه: ألا أريك امرأة من أهل الجنة؟ قلت بلى. قال هذه المرأة السوداء أتت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقالت: إني أسرع. أسرع معناه عندي الجن. إني أسرع. There is two kinds. There is one from the jinn and one from the epilepsy. إني أسرع وإني أنكشف فادعي الله لي. قال: إن شئت صبرت ولك الجنة وإن شئت دعوت الله أن يعافيك. فقالت: أصبر. فقالت: إني أنكشف فادعوا الله لي ألا أتكشف. تخريج الحديث أخرجه الإمام أحمد في مسنده متفق عليه. أخرجه الإمام البخاري في صحيح كتاب المرض 6 باب من يسرع من الريح برقم 5652. والإمام مسلم في صحيحه كتاب البر والصلة باب ثواب المؤمن فيما يصيبه. وهذه المرأة اسمها زفر، كما روي ذلك البخاري في صحيحه عن عطاء، والظاهر أن الصرع الذي كان بهذه المرأة كان من الجن.
لم يذكر الرسول ذلك.
The
Prophet didn't say that in hadith.
صبر. أوكي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن أبان بنت الوزاع بن زراع بن عامر العبدي. أبان بنت الوزاع بن الزراع مقبولة من الطبقة الرابعة، أخرج لها البخاري وأبو داود، أن النبي أن جدها الزراع انطلق إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، فانطلق معه ابن له مجنون، وابن أخت له. قال جدي: فلما قدمنا إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قلت إن معي ابنا لي أو ابن أخت لي مجنون، أتيتك به تدعو الله له. قال رسول الله: أتي به. قال: فانطلقت به إليه وهو في الركاب، فأطلقت عنه وألقيت عنه ثياب السفر وألبسته ثوبين حسنين، وأخذت بيده حتى انتهيت به إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم: أدنه مني، أجعل ظهره ما يليني. قام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بمجامع ثوبه من أعلاه وأسفله، فجعل يضربه حتى رأيت بياض إبط النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، ويقول: اخرج عدو الله، اخرج عدو الله. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ضرب الجن وقال له: اخرج عدو الله. اوكي. فأقبل ينظر نظرة الصحيح، ليس بنظره الأول، ثم أقعده رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين يديه، فدعي له بماء، فمسح وجهه ودعا له، فلم يكن في الوفد أحد بعد دعوة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يفضله. اوكي، هذا حديث واحد. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أو خرج الجن من واحد. ما شاء الله يفتح عليك يا أخي محمد. محمد، خذ هذه هدية مني لك.
جزاك الله خير. Sufficient proof.
بارك الله. There is four incident. One, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he got the jinn or he spoke to the jinn who got the jinn out.
صحابة any صحابة did it.
عمر رضي الله عنه.
سيدنا
عمر did it. نعم. Okay. جزاك الله.
Okay, جزاك الله.
فتح الله عليك محمد.
Okay, we want the questions to be quick and simple because we've got a lot of questions to go through. 1 minute, one from the sisters and one from the brothers. Okay, we'll rotate like this. Please, no comments or suggestions or anything like that. Just questions, please. Okay, one question is: how can you wear a ta'weez that has verses from Quran and go to the toilet? Well, that's what it is. You don't wear the ta'weez in the first place. Okay, you should give it to a qualified raqi, someone who does the ruqiyah and get rid of it basically. So you shouldn't be going to the toilet with it anyway.
What's the question? How you do? How you?
Yeah.
The question how?
How can you wear a ta'weez and that has verses from Quran and go to the toilet?
Like you said, don't worry. If you know Al-Fatiha, Ayat Al-Kursi, and 3 Qul, that's enough. But sometimes it happened to us that somebody, he cannot read, he won't be able to read. So they use excuse that because he cannot read, we have to do it. Especially with the children, because they cannot read. So we will say to the father or mother, read on your children before they go to school. Read on them before they go to sleep. So and do that proper ta'weez, and you are doing it fresh from your mouth and you know what you are doing.
I've been asked once a question in a conference. I couldn't answer. The person asked me, if a human being dies through medical maut, take the soul, how does the process of the jinn goes on when it comes to maut?
Can you repeat the question as well?
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
Repeat the question. My English is not that.
I've been asked it once before. I couldn't find the answer. us human being, when the death come, maut come, Malik al-Maut do the qabd, take the soul out of the body. What is the process of the jinn when they die? Do they do like, do Malik al-Maut come to take what's the process of the jinn through the maut?
Yes, the brother said that when the angel of death takes the soul out of man, does the angel of death take the soul out of the jinni as well?
I don't have knowledge about that, but probably it will be the same, and Allah knows best. Malik al-Maut is the king of the... just one second, my brother. I was doing the Ruqiyah, and one jinn told me that I've seen the Sahir, the Malik al-Maut, because the jinn can't see the Malik. They can't see each other. He said to me, I saw the Malik al-Maut, or the Malik, shaking these magicians because Allah punished them in this dunya, humiliated them. Wallahi, my brother, I wish the sister which I did the Ruqiyah to give me a chance to record. Wallahi, my body shake. He said to me, the Malik was shaking the Sahir. And the Sahir, before when he died 3 days, he was in one room, and the pus will come from his body. So maybe, my brother, and Allah knows best, man qala la ilma li alam Allah, maybe it will be the same. Malik al-Maut one, or Ruh, we have a Ruh, and who's taking the Ruh? Malik. So maybe it will be the same. وَمَا مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. And with the Ruh will come out, is like when you put the dough with a thorn, يعني الصوف في شوك, cotton in thorn things like that. The Ruh will come out. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us, inshallah.
Okay, 2 questions from the sisters. It's the same thing. It says, can humans have jinn babies?
Yes. If they have a jinn baby, which means there is a family, the baby cannot be by himself, so it will be family inside the body. The father, mother, sometimes you might think this, what Abu Muhammad saying, this is what we heard from the jinn. Qabila, whole qabila inside the body. Sorry.
Well, they said that can humans have jinn babies? Can human marry jinn, and can they produce children?
Like what you said, my brother, and this is like we said, rightly guided. You know, Imam Malik, rahimahullah, and that other, Imam Malik, he hated that, you know, the jinn married to a male, all ulama. Maybe it can happen, Allah knows best, but, you know, the Imam Malik and other Imam, they forbid that a jinn marry too, because the reason why they forbid it. Now, when we find a lady pregnant, she might say the jinn, I slept with the jinn, or my husband is jinn. So that's why the ulama, they said no, and Allah knows best.
And if I can just elaborate on that, according to Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he said it is possible they could have babies together, and according to some other scholars, they said that they can't have offspring because the human seed is not same as the jinni seed, and the human eggs in the females are not same as the female jinni eggs, so they can't have offspring. Okay, question from the brothers? Walid.
We know that reciting the Quran in your house, it gets rid of the jinn. So, for example, reading Surah Al-Baqarah, will it have the same effect if you play it, for example, off a computer or electronics or something? Will it still have the same effect? Okay,
the Buddha said that playing Surah Al-Baqarah in the house, we know reading from the Quran, it will expel the jinn from your homes. Is it sufficient enough to play the Surah Al-Baqarah from an audio CD or from Peace TV or something like this from the television channel? Is this sufficient?
It will be better to say it, inshallah. It will be better to read it. The Quran is not also Ghostbusters. You leave Surah Al-Baqarah and then you go. I used to be in Manchester. I used to live in one place. There is one guy from Broad. He was a student. He left the house and left a Quran. Me, I thought, mashallah, lovely boy. Actually, he leaves the Quran and he dressed well and he put perfume and he goes to work. And I said to him one day, don't do like this. So he is using the Quran in order people to think that there is somebody in the house. So they don't enter. So don't use the Quran as, but like you said, mashallah, but it's better to read it. And plus also, when you read, sometimes you read Surah Al-Baqarah but still, the jinn is still in the house. يعني اليقين. When you read with yaqeen, okay, even when you are there, you have to sit and respect the Quran. So read it, it will be more thawab, inshallah. And that's it, Allah knows best.
Okay, just like a question from the
That's
sisters.
it, we read, inshallah.
It's saying, what happens when a jinn dies? How is he buried? And then there's a second question. Can a jinn harm an unborn child? For example, if the mother is possessed, if the mother is pregnant, can the jinn harm the unborn child? But we'll go to the first question. What happens when a jinn dies?
When the jinn dies, Allah knows best, it will go, become like a dust, whatever. But the second, whether they buried and this and that, the jinn didn't call us to witness their funeral. Okay? But the other one, the baby?
Yeah, the baby. Can a jinn harm an unborn child if the mother is pregnant and possessed?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect, but sometimes the jinn can harm. Can harm, or the jinn can cause miscarriage. And the jinn can kill the babies by the will of Allah, by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a jinn where normally he goes to ovaries, the womb, and then what the jinn does, he make like a knots. And the jinn can pop the egg. When we do Ruqiyah, normally we find the sisters, they have a pain, so much pain there, and sometimes also the jinn can cause blood, like false
bleeding.
Barakallah fiqh. False bleeding or false period, whatever. So the jinn can do that.
Okay, Jazakallah. Question from the brothers?
Umar ibn Khattab said, one form of Ruqiyah is Surah Fatiha.
No.
Yeah? So, however, I don't know, from my knowledge, from what I've been told, is that there's different levels of magic. Yeah? Will Surah Fatiha work for all of that, or are there different readings you can do apart from Surah Fatiha and the four qul you mentioned?
Okay, the brother said that Surah Al-Fatiha it should inshallah get rid of the shayateen in the possessed body, but is it only Surah Al-Fatiha, or is it other surahs or ayat in the Quran as well?
Jazakallah khair, my brother. I wrote it here. Al-Fatiha هي الفاتحة, لكن أين قلب عمر? When we read normally Fatiha, enough. But where is the heart of somebody? He went to the Sheikh and he said to him, I want to do Ruqiyah, or he said to him, like you mentioned, mashallah, he said to him, read Al-Fatiha, and Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, give a shifa, because Umar radiallahu anhu, he read Al-Fatiha and the person get better. So this man, he went and he read Al-Fatiha, but it didn't work for him. Why? He said, the Sheikh, it didn't work. He said Al-Fatiha, Al-Fatiha. The Fatiha is Fatiha, isn't it? But where is the heart of Umar? When Umar read, or Abu Bakr, or Sahaba al-Kiram, is not like us. Because when we read our head in McDonald's, in Wimpy, in chips, that's why it doesn't work. Like you have a tablet and from 3 years, 4 years, is out of date. But alhamdulillah, Quran never out of date. But if you have iman and yaqeen and tawakkul, mashallah, it will work for you. Allahumma.
Okay, Jazakallah. A question from the sister said, Assalamu alaikum. Just wondering if when you have been in contact with a jinn, have they told you about the closeness of Yawm al-Qiyamah, or anything interesting about the major minor signs or anything like that about the world today? Have any jinni told you about the closeness of Yawm al-Qiyamah?
Ya Ukhti Karima, my sister, I think the jinn earlier, the general one, he said we are close. And alhamdulillah, I don't need, with my respect to you, my dear sister, I don't need the jinn, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Isa qurub sa'a. Now is qurub sa'a. 1 day is like 1 hour, 1 week is like 1 day. خلاص, هذه إشارة قرب ساعة. And Allah knows best.
Yes, brother.
When I'm asleep, sometimes I wake up and I can feel something on me and I can't move. And I've a lot of what's called weight, it feels like a car's on me.
Pressure on your chest.
Yeah. So I have to move my fingers slowly, and after that my hands start to move, and then I can get up. And then I go back to sleep and it happens again. Is that the jinn?
Can you
repeat
the question?
Okay, brothers. So, and sisters, the Buddha said that when he sleeps at night, he feels a heavy pressure on his chest, and he wakes up and he does something, and then he goes back to sleep, and the pressure comes again. Is that the works of shayateen or jinn?
Most of the time, yes, and Allah knows best. And tell me, my brother, inshallah, when you go to sleep, honestly, do you do wudu? MashaAllah, jazakallah khair. When you go to sleep, do you sit on your bed, you open your hand like this and you read Al-Fatiha and 3 quotes? MashaAllah. That's why. Try it from tonight, inshallah, and you will see the difference, inshallah. Do your namaz, Isha, inshallah, on time like this, Jama'ah, mashallah. Then go home, inshallah. Before you go to bed, go to the toilet, empty, whatever. Have a wudu, sit on your bed, or whatever, inshallah. Open your hand, read Al-Fatiha, 3 quls, inshallah. Rub on your body, sleep on the right hand side, do like this, and read, inshallah. By the will of Allah, Allah will send Malaika, Malak 1, to protect you.
Reading Surah Mulk as well.
If you want my Quran, jazakallah khair. But the one who doesn't know Surah Al-Mulk, we punish him. قل هو الله الفاتحة enough, but اليقين. Read whole Quran, it doesn't work for you. You read Fatiha, Ya Allah fawwadtu amri ilayk, finish. Just one word, but the battery, the engine, if it's working, if it's diesel.
Okay, question from a sister saying, Assalamu alaikum Muhammad, Abu Muhammad, this is a question about sisters being diagnosed with depression, hallucinations and schizophrenia. What is your advice on taking medication? And number 2 is, and what services on Ruqiyah are there in Nottingham? People who do magic are very easily accessible in Nottingham, which get a lot of publicity because people have a lot of sihr. Okay, going to the second question. The Ruqiyah in Nottingham, from Nottingham Islam Information Point, we are willing to help you, but to a certain degree. Most likely we will put you in touch with the specialised doctors like Abu Muhammad or Abu Hanif or Abu Maryam, anyone like that in London, and then they would take it from there. But in Nottingham we can only do as much as we can. One of our brothers who is in Nottingham Islam Information Point will be inshallah learning how to do the basics of Ruqiyah and things like that. But that's what we have in Nottingham. We will put you in touch with the doctors. So going back to the first question, what do you think of those people, or there's a specific sister who's been diagnosed with depression, hallucinations and schizophrenia, meaning they're mentally ill? What is your advice about taking medication for them illnesses?
Jazakallah khair, my sister. Sometimes this anxiety and depression is due to jinn. If the one is to do with the jinn, inshallah, I don't advise you, if you didn't go to doctor or if you didn't get any tablet, whatever the treatment yet, I advise you to go and do Ruqiyah first. And then if you already been with the doctor, I will advise you, because most of the time maybe it's good. If you have severe anxiety and depression, I will advise you, my sister, inshallah, might be to take the treatment as well as in parallel to take Ruqiyah. And if you go to my website, my sister, there is the signs, and you will look at the website and you will see whether you have these signs. There is the signs of evil eye, magic, or jinn, inshallah. You look at the signs, and then you will see whether you have, if you have all that signs, which means your problem is more spiritual rather than medical. Inshallah, I hope I answer.
Yes, okay. Question from the brothers, yes, brother?
Yes.
So just a couple of questions. If a woman is affected by black magic,
Yes.
and she's constantly menstruating,
Okay.
bleeding after, does that mean there's jinnies in her womb? And another one, if she's gaining more weight than she did after giving birth, does that mean anything?
Okay, the Buddha said that if one sister is constantly bleeding, is that the works of jinni, of shayateen? and also if she's putting on excess weight after she's delivered pregnancy, does that also mean that she's been affected?
But Jinn, she has got Jinn.
Yeah, does that mean that she has got a Jinn?
No, sorry, she already has, she's been affected by Allah, the Jinn is spoken out of her, but this is what's happening after. Does that mean that it's them affecting it?
Could be the magic who's doing that to the sister. More likely is to do with the Jinn, because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned about, this menstruation. Sometimes the Jinn does it. The Jinn kick the belly of the sister, and the sister, they will bleed. So there is possibility, magic who does that. More likely is to do with the Jinn who does that. What else?
How does she do her salah then? Does she just...
she can't do salat, yes. When, let's see, before a prayer starts, the sister, they will know, inshallah. She will put cotton wool or something like that, inshallah. Just before the prayer, she will pray. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said to one sahabiya, اغتسلي وصلي, or cover that part, inshallah, she will do the prayer. Because that is not hayd, is not menstruation, is the kick of the Jinn. And
if she keeps gaining weight after
getting weight, most of the time is the Jinn who give the weight, and sometimes the Jinn who make the body shrunk. Okay, and Allah knows best.
Question from the sisters, there's one or two here. It says, it is not better, and this is like a complimentary thing, saying it's best to say Tabarakallah instead of Mashallah if you are affected with evil eye. Yes, Jazakallah, thank you. You can say Tabarakallah, Mashallah, Alhamdulillah, things like that, to avoid the evil eye. And it says, what a hadith mentioned about the Qareen of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam being alive and being near the Prophet's grave, peace be upon him. So what's the evidence for the Qareen of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be alive and he's in the Bhakti area teaching, doing dars?
Allah knows best, my sister. I don't have that. Only I have a brother, I did Ruqiyah for him, and the Jinn came from Syria, and the Jinn was, when I tried to speak to the Jinn and said, Ya Abu Muhammad, let me go. I am going to Morocco. I'm going to face whatever. This is about 7 years since when I did Ruqiyah, or more or less. So the Jinn, he said to me, let me get to my class. He come from Syria, he's going to Morocco to study. And his name, Muhammad. This Jinn entered this brother. It was Fajr time. This brother was going to do wudu, and somehow he came, and there is a well, and this brother, he came to take water from well, and the Jinn live in that well. So they possess him. And this Muhammad, when I was talking to him, and I said, Ya Muhammad, you don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Your name is Muhammad, and you are in this body. He said, Oh Abu Muhammad, he said, we are like you. There is a da'if, there is a qawi, there is hypocrite. So it happened to me. I said to him, shame on you, Ya Jinn. You should, when the brother come to wudu, you should do wudu as well in the prayer. And he said, Abu Muhammad, we are like you, lazy and this and that. And then this Jinn, he said to me, didn't you hear about Al-Amin? I said, who's Al-Amin? He said, Abu Muhammad, you don't know Amin. I said, I know the Prophet ﷺ, Muhammad Al-Amin. He said, there is the Qareen of the Prophet ﷺ, but please, inshallah, don't take this as authentic information. This is what could be the Jinn. Not tell me the truth, could be. This information, I had it, and I don't want to keep it in my inside. So he said, this Qareen, he teach the Jinn in Medina. And Allah knows best, my sister.
Yes, and just to elaborate on that, that's also confirmed by one brother called Ahmed Izzat. He's Egyptian from Egypt. And he does an interview with a Muslim Jinn, and it's on YouTube. It's about 2 hours, and also he there confirms as well that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's Qareen is still alive and he's doing dars in the Baqi area of Medina. Okay, one question from the brothers, Umar Farouk.
Before Umar, Jazakallah, MashaAllah, Tabarak. I have this taweez here, inshallah. The taweez, the two opinions who said taweez is permissible and the other one which they said not permissible, but more the one who said not permissible is more, you have more weight. I will leave this one with the brother Harun and the brother here, inshallah. And inshallah, if you need a copy, whatever, come to them, inshallah. And inshallah, they will give you, inshallah.
I was wondering, do any of the jinn today know the magic that was taught by Harun
Okay, the brother said, does any of the jinn today, they know the magic that was taught from Harut and Marut, the two angels that was sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach mankind magic, but as a test, only as a test, as a trial. Does any of the jinni today know that particular same magic as what Harut and Marut brought down?
I don't know the magic is magic. You, like Harun, he mentioned, A'udhu Billah. Small things, you will be magician. If you want to be, you don't need to go to what Harut and Marut taught people. Just one word, you can be magician, A'udhu Billah. So the jinn, whatever, they don't need to know. To be magician, to do haram, it's easy. And Allah knows this.
Okay, I've got a question now. Just so Harut and Marut came at the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam and taught magic.
Yeah.
So was there any magic sihr before the advent of Sulaiman alayhi salam? Was there any time in the time of Noah, Idris, Ibrahim alayhi salam?
Maybe not, because the two angels, they come down in the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam. So they come in that era, in that period. Okay, and Allah knows this.
Okay, question for the sisters. What are the signs that someone has been possessed by jinn? And are the signs the same for Muslims and non-Muslims?
Let's concentrate with us. The signs of the possession of the jinn. Number one is the person, he or she will move away from the guidance of Allah. The person who doesn't want to pray, the person feels distance from his family, the fear, this anxiety, feel distance from the family. All this is the sign that the person is possessed. And to know what the person will know whether he is possessed or she is possessed, listen to the Quran al-Karim and you will see.
Jazakallah. Omar al-Hassan.
Can you clarify a bit more about the pudding? Like, what's his role? Is he the jinn who whispers in your ear, makes you do bad things? And how can you tell if he's Muslim or Kafir?
Okay.
How do you know if the jinn is telling the truth? Like, when you talk to them, can they not be lying to you?
How do you know I'm telling you the truth?
I trust you.
I trust some of them.
Okay. Just a question from Omar. He said that the Qareen that is assigned to you, he's Muslim or non-Muslim.
Yeah. What's their role? What do they do?
What's their role? What do they do? The disbelieving Qareen.
Are they the ones that whisper? Are they the ones that whisper?
Are they the ones that whisper to the human being to tell him to commit sins and things like that?
The Qareen is his job, is because he's shaitan. Qareen is not jinn, like Harun mentioned earlier. The Qareen is shaitan. His job, since when you're born, you will have everybody of us, including the Prophet ﷺ, the Qareen will be on the left side, and his job is to whisper, to give you only negative things. You are useless, you are this, you are that, who tell you that Qiyamah exists and this and all these negative things. Okay, this is his job to get you out from Deen, from Islam. And that this is the role. What's the second thing? Whether he's telling me the truth.
Yeah, how do you know that they're telling the
Okay,
truth?
that's a good question. When I deal with the jinn, this is my small experience, and Allah knows best, and could be. If you grab somebody and you beat him in the corner, He will give you information, he will lie to you. If you tell him who killed my mom, he will tell you, me, anything, just stop, don't beat that person. But if you talk to the person nicely and gently, when he give you information willingly, with me when I speak to the jinn, I tell them, fear Allah, obey Allah, Ya ayyuhal jinn, remember who created you, why created you? And then the jinn starts crying. Most of the time, I succeed. I don't beat them, and even with their own shahada, with their witness, they will say, we come to you because we heard that you are just. You don't beat, you don't. So you get the trust, but in the end of the day, me, I don't care whether he's telling me the truth or not. I want him to get out from the body. I talk to them, most of the time, they give me, inshallah, true information. And that's it, inshallah. Inshallah, I have to... Inshallah.
Last question, inshallah, Harun, about the case and once.
Okay, the last question
نعم
about case and
نعم.
answer.
الشيخ هل يستطيع can jinn
نعم.
not possess a child as in his body,
Yes.
but use the child to wake up so much in the night as a scare
Yes.
to
Yes.
make atmosphere in the house?
Yes, نعم.
And what's the best solution for this?
نعم.
Okay, the Buddha said that there's a child if the jinn is
Not
possessed.
possesses him, but
Oh.
makes him wake up and have pains and all that.
Okay, so the child is not possessed, but he wakes up in the middle of the night crying and got pain. Is that one
Can the
case?
jinn
Yes.
use the
No,
child
no.
without possessing him in the body just
No.
to make him wake up?
نعم. Yes. Yes. What the jinn does, sometimes, especially the sisters, they are possessed, and they are possessed with 2-3 jinns. One of the jinn, he goes and pinch the boy, or scare the boy. If the child is like a baby, the jinn just poke them, so they cry. So they make life misery for the mom and dad. If the children are, let's say, 6-7 years, the jinn will scare them in the form of lion, tiger, monster, whatever. Did I answer your question, Akhi?
No.
You know? And sometimes what happened to me, I am reading on a sister, okay? Let's see, there is 2 sisters with me in there. The third sister, she is waiting outside, or her brother waiting outside in the car because the baby is there. I cannot let them in because it's not good for them and it's not good for me to cause me trouble. I cannot concentrate. What the jinn does, while I'm reading on this sister, the boy in the car screaming head off. Why? He wants me to stop. So I stopped doing the Ruqiyah. And when I asked the jinn, they will tell me one of us, he went to do delivery things.
Okay, so what does that question
There
say?
is a sister saying, I am very tired in my wedding. It's been a year now, and even when I do ijma' with my husband, it doesn't feel right. I want all over the world looking for a solution, and I can't find solution. Please help me. What shall I do?
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. So she's depressed.
She's depressed?
Yeah, she's depressed, and as well in the time of ijma' it doesn't feel alright.
Okay, depressed, that could be from jinn, could be from magic. And ijma', most of the time the jinn doesn't let husband and wife do that process. If this lady could be, she has a magic, and that magic block ijma', and most of the time maybe she is possessed with the jinni male. He doesn't want that man to be there. Okay, what she do, like brother Harun is already mentioned, come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pray inshallah salat fi waqtiha, be in wudu. Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, our fault is our problems. You see some youngsters, they are laughing, and you see, that is our problem. That's how we can how we can get possessed, how we can get harmed, how we can get, if we are not taking the things seriously. So with the sister, inshallah, mashallah, make your house like a mini mosque. الذكر, and the Prophet ﷺ, he said, يعني ما شاء الله البيت الذي يقرأ فيها سورة البقرة لا يدخلها الشيطان. And also when you come in, say بسم الله ولجنا وعلى ربنا توكلنا. Keep your house, inshallah, with the Quran. Sit as a family, read the Quran maybe every day. You as a father, sit with your wife, and then try, put in your mind that we have to finish the Quran in 3 months, 4 months. Read 2 pages a day, you with your children. Inshallah, encourage them, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, so even 1 year. Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, يعني عجبا, somebody lived 63 years, something like that, and did more and more as the Quran, or he didn't read the Quran whole. Inshallah, jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah, thank you. We thank you, Abu Muhammad, for coming up to Nottingham and delivering your experiences with the community. Jazakallah, thank you. Abu Muhammad and Brother Asif, who came with him, they'll be selling the DVDs outside, so if you want to make your way downstairs and buy any DVDs. There's also the business cards on the tables, so okay, just in case we haven't answered your questions, you can contact Abu Muhammad in the next few days and just speak to him over the phone about any questions you may have.
Please email, inshallah. Don't phone, because you will find me very, very busy, and it will, inshallah, kindly email me, inshallah.
Yes.
It will be easy, but if you phone me, I won't be able to answer.
Okay, so if you want to email him, that would be better, and also you can email us as well at contact@nottinghamislam.com, and we will forward it on to Abu Muhammad, inshallah.